Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and in the words of the famous J Specs, it's time. This is week 1 of PMC season number 2. This isn't no D-League shenanigans. This is the real deal. And we are going up against a very real opponent this week. He coaches the Dallas Star U. His name is Esperlancer. We are, of course, the coach of the Baltimore Orioles. And let's just hop right on into it and check out his team. So he's got a Mew, Togekiss, Gliscor, Scolipede, Mega Aggron, Roserade, Chandelure, Zoroark, Manectric, Kingdra, and Hariyama. So this is, at first glance, this doesn't seem like it's like a really well put together team. It doesn't really have the sort of traditional synergy that a lot of teams strive for, but it is, in its own sort of funky way, its team is really, really good. And it's benefited by the fact that he has 4 baton passers. And I do believe that Esperlancer is sort of known for these like gimmicky sort of baton pass sets. You know, I don't mean to say gimmicky in like an offensive way, but I saw him run like weakness policy baton pass Scizor and weakness policy baton pass Gliscor in one game before, if I'm not mistaken, or something to that effect. When they may or may not have had agility on each of them, or one of them had it, or something like that. So when you bring that like in mind, like when you consider that, this team is actually really frightening. Like you look at something like Scolipede passing speed boosts into a Belly Drum Hariyama, and that's really scary. If you wanted to like speed pass into Kingdra with focus energy, it just hits critical hit Draco Meteors all day. That's really scary. Nasty Plot Mew, Nasty Plot Togekiss, Swords Dance Togekiss, Agility Gliscor, all these sorts of things are all really frightening. Passing speed into Chandelure is like, I can't even think about how scary that is. He has more to his team beyond baton pass, obviously. Like Aggron is a really, really solid mon. It's very tough to wear down, especially for my team, I think. Zoroark is something that I'm pretty afraid of, because obviously it's hard to predict exactly when that thing is coming in, and stuff like that. Roserade is very, very underrated. So I don't know. This is probably going to be one of my hardest matchups of the season, if I'm being honest. So let's just quickly hop into the team, and let's see if we can do this. We are going to be battling in like 45 minutes here, so I'm not going to make it take too long. I'm going to finish this. We're going to stock up on some Liquid Courage, and we're going to hop into the battle. So starting things off, we do have our Black Hawk with a Life Orb, rocking Draco Meteor, Fire Blast, Iron Tail, and Outrage. Mixed Ments is definitely, I think, the best set that I could have brought against Esperlancer. His Draco resists are Togekiss and Aggron, and both of those are 2-hit KO'd by the coverage moves that Salamence is packing in Fire Blast and Iron Tail. And it's one of those things too where he's going to be switching in an Aggron on this 9 times out of 10, thinking that that's going to counter like a Dragon Dance set or something like that. And Fire Blast is just really going to put in the work against that thing. That's why it was banned from UU. Like, it had so many sets that it could run, and you never knew which one it was, and you had to basically stack something to figure it out, whether it was Scarf, or it was Dragon Dance, or it was Special, or it was Bulky with Defog, whether it had Wish or not. It's just very good. And we did put enough speed on this thing to outspeed a Kingdra, a Jolly or Timid Kingdra, rest into Special Attack, and anything that's left over into Attack. I don't really anticipate that we're going to be clicking Outrage in this game, but I did just throw that on there in case we got an opportunity to use it late game, because I guess I could have put like Defog or Roost or Wish or something like that, but Outrage seemed very good. So that's Salamence, and I think the main strategy this week is going to be finding ways to pivot into Salamence and then dropping a Draco on something. It's just going to put in a lot of work. Next up, we've got Jean Grey, Stealth Rock, U-Turn, Psychic, and Shadow Ball. U-Turn, Psychic, and Shadow Ball should hit everything on his team for at least neutral or perhaps even super effective damage. Stealth Rock is there because I needed some Pokemon with Stealth Rock on my team. U-Turn, again, to pivot into Salamence. Psychic is very good. And I should correct this, I'm not actually Colbur Berry. I decided to run Tanga Berry instead. So this spread can live a knockoff from an Adamant Life Orb Zoroark from full HP. So I figured, I can deal with that, get in the Mesprit, or get off a U-Turn, and then go into most likely Tornadus to hit him up with a U-Turn. Just to sort of, not revenge it there, but, put some pressure on. Tanga Berry is just for the Scolipede. The Scolipede's a very big threat. As I said, I'm very worried about that thing passing into other Mons. So I want to prevent that from happening as much as possible. So yeah, that's the Mesprit this week. Next up, we've got Tenzin, our Tornadus T with Hashardy Berry, rocking Air Slash, Hidden Power Ice, Knockoff, and U-Turn. I was thinking about the Hurricane, obviously, but I don't think I would have picked up any kills with Hurricane. That Air Slash, like that, I wouldn't turn any 2-hit KOs into OHKOs with Hurricane. So I didn't want to do that. Like, there's probably going to be a situation in the game where I'm like, man, I wish I had Hurricane because the Pokemon's at like 70 or 60% or something, and Air Slash is not going to be able to do enough. But I'm still getting comfortable with Tornadus. I'm not quite ready to bank on those 70% chances to hit. I'm already running a lot of inaccurate moves on Salamence and also on Volcarona. But yeah, this thing is just good in general versus his team. He doesn't have very good flying resists. He has Manectric and Aggron, which we have good switch-ins to, mainly being the Electros. So I think this Pokemon's going to be very good against him. Speaking of which, we do have an Assault Vest Electros. Kind of a funny set: U-Turn, Discharge, Hidden Power Ice, Dragon Tail. Running U-Turn instead of Volt Switch because he does have some potential Pokemon that can come in for free on this Electros. And this Electros, it's not supposed to be, like, it can do damage for sure, but it's not like meant to be the damage dealer. It's just supposed to be here, take a quick hit, and then pivot on out into whatever's appropriate. And he's going to be expecting Volt Switch, at least until I show the U-Turn. And once I show the U-Turn, like, he's not going to want to bring in the Manectric or the Gliscor automatically on this thing. Discharge is just good because it hits pretty hard, and it's also got that kind of annoying 30% chance to paralyze. We could try and get a little bit of extra damage off with the Thunderbolt, but I don't really have any status on this team, so I'm kind of happy to put a move on here that has a chance to inflict status. Hidden Power Ice for said, for the Gliscor. And then Dragon Tail is just here in case he does something cheeky and he wants to pass into whatever. If I'm at reasonably high health, I think there's not a lot of moves on his team that can hit me for super effective damage. Sorry, of course there's nothing that can hit me for super effective damage. There's nothing that can hit me for like an OHKO without significant boosts. And so if he does get some boosts, I can, or if he's trying to pass into something, like for example, he has Scolipede, and he's trying to pass speed into whatever, I can just Dragon Tail whatever's coming in, and then it's several turns wasted, which is nice. So that's going to be Electros this week. Next up, we have Calamari with Scald, Knockoff, Rapid Spin, and Haze. Scald because it hits most of his team very hard, and Knockoff just for the utility. This set is kind of taken advantage of by Kingdra, so we'll kind of have to play that one by ear. It's gonna be tough. If it's like an Agility or a Dragon Dance Kingdra, we could be in trouble for sure. We do have, I guess, defensive Mesprit, but Mesprit can't really OHKO it, so we'll have to see. If he wants to click Dragon Dance, I can just click Haze with this Tentacruel and weaken it down. And if I get a Scald Burn on it, then it's neutralized if it's like a Dragon Dance set. But yeah, I really need Rapid Spin on this team because I am bringing the Volcarona, as you see here in a moment, and I also have two other Pokemon that are weak to hazards. And he has several means of setting up spikes and toxic spikes, so it was really important to me to bring Rapid Spin this week. And Haze is there again just so I don't get turned into setup fodder, which is a very real possibility in this game. And then last but not least, we do have a kind of standard Volcarona with Fire Blast, Bug Buzz, Hidden Power Ground, and Quiver Dance. If you're wondering why the IVs are sort of weird, first I need Hidden Power Ground IVs, and then I also want to take as little damage as possible from a potential foul play. Not that he has any foul play users on his team. And then I also wanted to put 29 EVs into HP to get me a Life Orb number. So I'm going to be taking, I guess, the least percentage of damage possible from each turn. And then my leftover EVs, I put enough speed in here to outspeed a Timid Kingdra, and then put a Modest Nature with max special attack investment, put the rest into Spadef. It's going to be interesting. This, in theory, sets up on Pokemon like Aggron or Roserade and things like that. We're just going to have to beware of the coverage moves. I think Rock Slide is really likely on the Aggron. I think it's a little bit less likely on the Roserade, like a Hidden Power Rock. But we might be able to take one anyway if it's not like Life Orb or something like that. We'll do a Calc in game. Plus, if he's not Scarf, we do outspeed. We can get off a Quiver Dance, get to +1 special defense, and then we should be able to take one a lot more easily. Yeah, we're just going to have to do those calcs when the time comes. So that is the team. If I would be lying if I said I was super confident. It's such a funky team, and there's just nothing that jumped out at me as being really reliable against him. But we do have good win conditions in Salamence and in Volcarona, and if we can use the rest of our Pokemon to sort of pivot around and get chip damage and things like that, we should be able to put ourselves in a position to win. I'm not going to say we should be able to get the victory, because I'm not that arrogant or even that confident. So we'll see. But in any event, I do hope you guys enjoyed this team builder, and I do hope that you will check out the battle tomorrow. It's week 1. There's a lot of hype going into this. It's the first week of season number 2, and it's the last season before Sun and Moon comes out. And there's a lot of really amazing battlers in the league this season. There were last year, of course, but they added people such as Dallas, such as Aki, and things like that. So the competition is increasing, and it'll be fun to be a competitor this season after being an analyst in Season 1 and being a D-League competitor. So anyway, I do want to thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to check back for more Pokemon content. And until the next time, I will see you guys later.